welcome or welcome back to my cozy corner of the internet. If it's your first time here, I'm Nora, and on this channel I talk about the cozy games and indie games of each month, and I talk about the games I played and loved and that touched my soul and just everything gaming. In today's video we're going to be talking about April's cozy game releases, and actually we have so many good games coming out this month. We have some of my most anticipated games for 2026 coming out this month. I just hope that they don't get delayed, because you never know with indie games like this. So just manifesting good vibes for April for all of you, and let's get into the list. I'm really excited to share these games with you. Let's go.
Our first cozy release of the month is Fishbowl, releasing on the 2nd of April. This is a slice of life story where we play as a 20-year-old girlie called Alo, who moved to a new city, and she's starting her first job as a video editor while working from home. And the game is really about trying to navigate that strange feeling of isolation that comes with adulthood, looking back and seeing our childhood in a whole new light, drowning in nostalgia and processing grief. And yeah, all those weird feelings that people in their 20s like me experience. So I think this will be a really relatable game. Gameplay wise, we'll actually get to play a mini matching style video editing game, and we'll also spend a lot of time on video calls with friends and family, trying to keep those connections alive while we're away from home. It's also a choice-based game, so we'll get to have different endings based on the choices we'll make. As someone who recently moved away from family to a whole new country and basically sitting at home all alone editing these YouTube videos most of the time, I am super excited for Fishbowl. I feel like I'm definitely going to see myself in Alo, and I'm so ready for this beautiful storytelling. I also really want to make a review video for it if I can hopefully find the time. Next we have Clean Up Earth, releasing on the 2nd as well. This is a super important game where we, as the title says, clean up Earth. We vacuum waste, recycle materials, and rebuild damaged structures, and we immediately see the results of our actions as wildlife returns, plants grow back, and polluted environments come back to life. You can play solo, but there's also co-op available, and you can join large groups of up to 25 players where you clean together. I saw some people hating on this game and saying stuff like, just go outside and collect trash instead of making or playing a game about collecting trash, and I literally can't understand why anyone would hate on a game like this. I personally find this game to be really important. I think seeing the benefits your actions can have will make so many people more inspired to actually do this in real life. Also, games can be a really nice teaching tool both for kids and adults, so I'm sure there will be so many people playing this and being inspired to do the same in real life, because condensing years of ecological recovery into just a few minutes of gameplay, the game offers a proof of concept for our brains, and after seeing the game's world thrive because of our choices, we have the psychological win we need to feel empowered to take that same initiative outside. Also, a quick random recommendation: if you like the sound of this one and would like to play a similar cleaning game while you wait for this to be released, I really enjoyed Fresh Start Cleaning Simulator. Then one day after, on the 3rd, we have A Rat's Quest: The Way Back Home. In this super cute game, we play as a young rat willing to risk everything for love. We live a simple life with our best friend in an abandoned wine cellar when one day our life is turned upside down because we fall deeply in love with a mouse kept as a pet by the people living in the building. The story sounds so sweet, it'll be fully voice overed, and it looks really cinematic. For the gameplay, it seems like there will be some combat and boss fights, and we'll switch between top-down and side perspectives during platforming. I really love games where we play as a small creature in a big world. They often have very creative level designs that makes me smile as I walk around, and I have a feeling this one will have that too. Next, we have People of Note on April 7th. If you like turn-based RPGs and musicals, this game was probably created with you in mind. We play as this cool pop singer named Cadence, who's on a mission to win the noteworthy Song Song contest. It's basically a huge Eurovision style competition in this world called Notes, but after Cadence gets shut out of the contest, she realizes that her solo act might not be enough for the judges, and so the journey starts where we travel all around the world to recruit a full band. Meanwhile, something much bigger is happening. Dark forces are working behind the scenes to disrupt the world's natural harmonies, so we step up and try to make sure music still has a future. I'm so obsessed with all the characters we've seen so far. Each of them have a very distinct style and personality, and the voice acting seems incredible. I think the turn-based combat will be so amazing because each fight is literally a musical performance. Each turn is called a stanza and the music changes based on which character is attacking. You can even do mashup attacks where your band members combine their musical styles to deal extra damage. Also, don't worry if you're not into turn-based combat, the game seems fully customizable. For example, if you're not into puzzles, you can just turn them off. And same with turn-based combat, so you can choose the perfect settings for yourself to make it as cozy as possible. As you can probably tell, I'm so excited for this one. I think the musical numbers are going to be so good, and I feel like I'll have the soundtrack on repeat. Another game releasing on the same day is KuloNiku Bowl Up. If you've been feeling nostalgic for Cooking Mama, this is a high energy but super cozy cooking game where we've just inherited our grandma's once famous meatball restaurant in the town of KuloNiku, and we're trying to bring it back to its former glory. We're joined by our best friend Cassie, who helps us manage the front of the house while we do all the cooking in the back. The gameplay is a mix of management and satisfying cooking minigames where we chop, boil, and season each bowl step by step. One of the most unique parts of the game is the meatball brawls. These are cooking duels against rival chefs who want a top spot, like Stella, who runs a flashy diner called Superstars. These battles are actually broadcast on a fictional TV channel called Nani TV, and we've got to impress a panel of judges while the live audience throws out random requests for us to follow. I really love the visual style of this one. It has this anime look, and you know, food always looks so much better in anime. The characters look so cute too. Outside of cooking, the game's also very character focused and we can build friendships with the locals. I'm really looking forward to this. I feel like cooking games never disappoint. Then we have another super cozy cooking game, but mixed with another very relaxing genre, hidden objects. It's called Messy Recipe, a hidden object game, and it's releasing on the 9th of April. I think it's such a charming take on the hidden objects genre. We're in a very cluttered, very cozy kitchen trying to cook through a book of family recipes. The twist here is that we aren't alone. There's a shy little ghost who lives in the kitchen and loves food just as much as we do. He's actually the one hiding our ingredients every night, so each time we want to cook something, we've got to find everything first. I love how they added a little backstory like this. Gameplay wise, it's very relaxed. You can play at your own pace and there aren't any stressful timers. Once you find your preferred ingredients, you get to customize the recipes and mix everything together. The developer also said that there is no AI used in the art or the game at all, which I know is really important to a lot of us in the community, and it's quite sad that we live in times where this has to be mentioned, otherwise no one can be sure whether something is AI or not. Anyway, basically this is a short, sweet experience that feels like it's made for those moments when you just want to shut your brain off and find some hidden carrots and spoons in a messy little kitchen. Another release we have on the 9th is Arcadia Fallen II. This is a standalone sequel to the first game, so you don't strictly have to play the first one before this. It's set 7 years after the first game, and this time instead of an alchemist, we're playing as a senior student at the Seven Winds Academy where everything seems normal. We just have typical problems like exams and worrying about who to take to the New Year's Gala, until we stumble upon a secret hidden right inside the school castle that changes everything. I saw that we'll be able to create our own character and choose our magical discipline, and our choices will change how we solve puzzles and how other people in the school treat us. Of course, we'll also be able to make lots of dialogue choices that affect our relationships. There are 5 romanceable companions and they all look so so well written. One of the features I'm most excited about is the night runs. We can sneak out of our dorms at night with our friends to explore the academy and uncover gossip or hidden secrets. It has the perfect magical boarding school feeling that's so nostalgic and cozy. Plus, the voice acting cast is actually incredible. They've got actors from Persona 5, Fire Emblem, they have Chloe's voice actor from Life is Strange, they have Blonde Blazer from Dispatch. I'm definitely okay to play visual novels without voiceovers, but with a good voiceover, they're really on a different level, and I feel like the storytelling is going to be great. I haven't even played the first game, but seeing the school setting in this made me very excited. Then A Storied Life Tabitha is releasing on April 14th. If you loved unpacking, you're gonna want to wishlist this game right now. It's a wholesome narrative puzzle game about the objects we leave behind. We play as a character who's cleaning out the country home of a loved one named Tabitha after she passes away. We basically do the opposite of what we do in unpacking. In this one, we pack away stuff, but the core feeling is definitely the same with the stories these objects tell. We come across a damaged memoir that was supposed to be published soon, and we try to repair it by piecing together Tabitha's past using the items we find. I feel like this is going to be such a cozy but bittersweet game. We'll go through each room, opening cupboards and moving furniture to find hidden trinkets. Since we can't keep everything, we also have to decide what to keep, what to sell at auction, and what to give away. Every item we save unlocks special words that we use to fill in the blanks of Tabitha's memoir, and I really love that we get to choose the tone of the story. It can be silly, somber, or even shocking, depending on what we decide to emphasize. I'm definitely going to be playing this the second it comes out. Next up, we have Moses and Plato, Last Train to Clawville, also releasing on the 14th. This game is such a treat for mystery lovers, aka me. It's a point-and-click murder mystery where we're literally the main suspect. We play as two pretty clueless detectives traveling on a luxury train called the Clawville Express to protect an ambassador on a peace mission. But then the ambassador gets murdered and suddenly everyone suspects us. We have to clear our names before the train reaches the last station, or a war might break out. Since we're a fox, we can use our animal senses to find clues. There's also a feature called the Mind Garden where we use a conspiracy board to link clues together. Since there are 12 different passengers to interrogate and time actually moves forward as we investigate, it feels like a real race against the clock. This game definitely has that classic noir vibe, but with a cozy mix that I think is just so charming. We're definitely getting fed on April 14th, or maybe we're not actually getting fed at all because we'll spend all our money on games. But we have yet another super interesting release, Dosa Divas, which is a narrative turn-based RPG where we play as two sisters called Samara and Amani, who've been apart for years but reunite to take down a massive evil fast food empire. And you know what? That empire is actually run by our other sister. So we cook delicious meals, build up reputation with local communities, and try to bring traditional food back to this place. When we aren't fighting corporate goons, we're exploring colorful villages, and of course cooking and eating with our loved ones. So this is a game about family, tradition, and the power of a good home-cooked meal. I'm such a fan of games that celebrate culture through food, and the art style is just so bright and energetic. I really can't wait to see everything else it offers since it's such a unique one. Next, on the 15th of April, we've got a game that's literally just called Cleaning Up, and I'm sure you can tell what we do in the game. It looks like the ultimate dopamine hit for anyone who loves a good tidy up. We work for this new cleaning app where we take on different jobs to earn cash and prestige. What I think is really cute is the variety of levels. One minute we're decluttering a messy but cozy apartment, and the next we're in a spooky level trying to avoid ghosts while we vacuum. We can also upgrade our tools and buy new outfits for our character. I think it's a great option for those of you craving that satisfying feeling of turning a total disaster into a sparkling space. Then we have OPUS Prism Peak, which is coming out on April 16. This was one of my most anticipated releases last month, but it got delayed to April, which actually kind of worked in my favor because I don't think I would be able to find the time to play it in March, and I would definitely get FOMO. Anyway, so this is a story-rich adventure in which we play as a stranded photographer traveling with a girl who's lost her memories. And since we're a photographer, of course, this is a big mechanic in the game, which is great news for me as I just love video game photography so much. I literally have over 5k screenshots on Steam. I think photography is like a puzzle in this one. We'll have to really pay attention to some details and understand the desires of each spirit we meet before we capture the perfect photograph. And judging by the previous Opus games, I'm so certain that this one will also have an unbelievably beautiful narrative, and I'm sure that I'll burst into tears probably multiple times. It has an atmosphere that feels so calming and nostalgic. I've never played an Opus game before, but I think this will be my entry point, and then I'll check out the other ones whenever I find the time. All the games have different stories. There are a few Easter eggs where other games are mentioned, but I heard that you can really play them in whatever order you want. They do definitely share one thing though, which is amazing storytelling, so if you're also a lover of stories, I think Opus Prism Peak should be high up on your list this month. The 16th is another really big date because we have 4 amazing games all releasing on this day, and one of these games is a really big release, which is Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. I know so many of you have been waiting for this sequel for over 10 years, so essentially this is the same quirky social sim where we put our me's on an island and watch the absolute chaos unfold, but in the sequel it's been updated with so many things the community's been asking for. The biggest news is that it's finally inclusive. We can create male, female, or non-binary me's and they can form romantic relationships with whoever we choose, which is a nice step forward. There's also a new studio workshop where we can design our own clothes, house exteriors, and even draw our own little pets and have so many unique, weird looking pets. It looks like the same weird and wonderful humor is still there. I almost spat my drink when I was watching at the "we haven't met yet, have we?" part. I can't wait to see what kind of drama everyone's islanders will get into, and I think this will be such a good game to just watch others play like reality TV. The third release of April 16th is Gecko Gods. This is a super relaxing puzzle adventure game where we play as this tiny adorable gecko exploring a forgotten archipelago, and of course, since we're a gecko, we can climb on literally anything. We can scamper up walls, across ceilings, and even squeeze into tiny little crevices to find hidden secrets in these ancient overgrown ruins. The gameplay seems really chill and it has a play at your own pace vibe. We get to sail between different islands on a tiny wooden boat that we actually control by grabbing the handles with our mouth, which I think is just the cutest thing. There are ancient puzzles to solve in the temples we find, and if our little lizard gets hungry, we can chomp on some bugs along the way. As the sunny days are slowly coming back into our lives, I'm just so excited to spend hours exploring around and enjoying the beautiful sun-drenched art style. And the final cozy release of April 16th is ShantyTown. If you love games like Tiny Glade or Dwarf Romantic, I have a feeling you're going to be obsessed with this one. It's a very relaxing diorama building game where we get to create these dense, colorful urban neighborhoods, and it's all about finding beauty in everyday chaos. So instead of a perfect grid, we're stacking shops, we're tucking tiny rooftop gardens into corners, and just building by instinct. We play as a surveyor, visiting 20 different locations, each with its own specific mood, and we learn each location's story as we build. There are no timers and no wrong ways to build. Instead, it's all about the cozy feeling of filling every nook and cranny with lots of details. visuals. I'm also so excited to hear the full soundtrack by Macro Blanc. I think it'll fit the relaxing atmosphere perfectly and will probably be my new go-to soundtrack to focus. Though the coolest part is that this is a solo dev project that's been in the works for years, and it's so sad we even have to say stuff like this now, but you can really feel the heart and the human touch in the design. I can easily see myself spending a whole Sunday just building a tiny cluttered city block while listening to the rain and the beautiful soundtrack. Then we have Hillshade Farm releasing to early access on the 21st. To be honest, this looks like every other farming sim to me. From the videos I watched of it, I didn't see anything new, and the demo reviews don't seem that well, but I know some people literally can't play cartoonish or pixel games because it actually hurts their eyes, so this having a more realistic graphics is probably the biggest selling point, since there are lots of people that prefer this style. I personally am not one of those people, but in case you are, I wanted to add it to this list. Next, Tides of Tomorrow is releasing on April 22nd. Imagine playing a game where your world is literally shaped by the mistakes and choices of other players that played before you. So this is an asynchronous multiplayer game, which basically means every single choice we make is recorded and anyone playing the game can choose to follow our path, so we aren't just playing a scripted story, we're actually following the paths that our friends or even total strangers have taken. It's by the same team that made Road 96, which was an amazing game with a really unique team, so my expectations are kinda high. We'll see and live the consequences of other players' actions while shaping the experience of future players. It's kind of like we're all building the future of the world together in real time, and I'm so intrigued by the idea that my game might be completely different from yours just because of who we decided to follow. Plus, the art style is so vibrant and colorful, and I think it looks really stylish. I'm so excited to see how it actually works and to what extent the choices we make affect the outcome. Next up is Outbound, releasing on the 23rd. I think this is one of the most awaited games of the month in general, judging by how many of my Steam friends have it wishlisted, and I think it's for a good reason. So in this one, we live in a camper van that we can completely customize inside and out. We travel across this beautiful, cozy solar punk open world and gather resources to power our van with renewable energy like solar panels and wind turbines. We slowly build our moving base, customize the vehicle as we wish, and turn it into this cozy little space. And we can also farm on the roof of our van, grow vegetables to cook with. It just sounds like the most fulfilling life ever, like the ultimate nomadic fantasy where you can just drive into the horizon and explore around. And I really love the level of detail they put into the game, and the idea of creating a tiny self-sufficient mobile home is just so incredibly cozy to me. I'm sure it's the same for most of you as well. Oh, and you can of course play it solo, but it also supports co-op up to 4 people, which I think it would be so cool to go on an adventure like this with friends. I said this the last time I talked about this game as well, but I think no one thought I was serious. If anyone wants to play it together when it comes out, let me know, I mean it. Then Moomintroll Winter's Warmth is releasing on the 27th of April. This is from the same studio that made the Snufkin game, which I loved so much. And since they're a Norwegian studio, I think they'll carry that authentic winter warmth theme perfectly, and it's probably going to be one of the most kurzlich games of the month. I hope I pronounced that right. We'll join Moomintroll on a cold winter journey that looks so heartwarming and atmospheric. The world looks very soft and quiet, capturing the beautiful dreamy feeling of a cozy winter night, and I can already tell that the music and the art style and honestly the whole vibe of it is going to make this a perfect game to play curled up under the blanket with your favorite drink in hand. One day after that, on the 28th of April, we have Aphelion. This is the new game from Dotnod, which is honestly the whole reason why it's on this list. It's a sci-fi game, which isn't a genre that I'm usually fond of, and they don't feel that cozy to me, but Dotnod games are always really narrative focused and have a really cozy gameplay in my opinion. and from everything I've seen of Aphelion so far, it looks like it carries the same cozy feeling that exists in all their games. So we play as an astronaut called Ariane who's crash landed on a frozen planet called Persephone, and our main goal is to find our partner Thomas, who's been separated from us in the crash. Like I said, it looks like it'll be a very cinematic, story-driven adventure where we're traversing these icy landscapes and uncovering the secrets of this mysterious world, and it has a really strong emotional core centered on the bond between the two astronauts. There are some stealth parts where we have to hide, but I think nothing too stressful. The overall atmosphere just seems so immersive and beautiful. It's definitely one to check out for the sci-fi lovers who want a deep, moving story, or fans of that not like me. Next up is Bobo Bay, releasing on April 29. If you've been missing the Chow Garden from Sonic, you're going to love this. It's basically Chow Garden 2. We collect and raise these adorable little creatures called bubbles. We can mash them together to breed new ones with thousands of combinations for colors and traits, and we can dress them up in cute accessories like tiny hats and scarves. We then train them for competitions and races, but also just hang out with them and watch their different personalities develop. It looks really fun and nostalgic, and I know there have been so many people waiting for a game like this to be made, so here it finally is. The next game we're going to talk about might just be the cutest game releasing this whole month. It's Adorable Adventures, coming out on the 30th of April. In this adorable cozy game, we play as Boris, who's literally the sweetest baby boar you've ever seen. After a forest fire separates us from our family, we have to use our tiny but powerful nose to track scents and find our brothers and sisters. We're gonna be traveling through environments inspired by southern France, which makes me even more excited for the game. Don't ask me why, but if a game is set in the French countryside, it just instantly feels so much cozier. I watched someone play the demo on YouTube and it quite literally melted my heart. I'm definitely gonna be playing the full game as soon as it comes out. And finally, to end the month with, we have inKONBINI, One Store Many Stories, also releasing on the 30th. I've always felt like I belong to the early 2000s of Japan, and I know there are a lot of you watching this that feel the same. I really love the movie Perfect Days because it shows the beauty of small daily details of a routine life, and this game is literally that feeling in a game. We work in a convenience store in 90s Japan, or maybe I should say in a setting inspired by Japan, and the gameplay is all about connection, nostalgia, and the quiet beauty of daily life and routine. We stock shelves, chat with customers, and just exist in this very specific cozy time period. I can already tell I will love this game because it just feels so grounded and peaceful, and I can't wait to see the stories of the people who walk through our doors. Though one thing worth mentioning is that there seems to be a big discussion behind the made-up Japanese of the game. Many people say they aren't happy with the font used on the products, and it's a mixed-up language between Japanese and gibberish. I also saw some people saying it looks like AI, but the developer rejected that and said that the font was designed entirely by hand by a talented Japanese designer, and every character was sketched on paper first and then digitized. I don't know any Japanese, so I don't know how jarring this made-up language is, but I'm just really hoping the game is good since it's one of my most anticipated releases for this whole year.
And those are all the cozy games that are going to be released in April, at least the ones that we know of so far. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. That would really help my channel, and I would love to know which game you're most excited about. I think for me it has to be inKONBINI or Fishbowl, or I don't know, there's so many good picks. But yeah, I would love to know which game you're most excited about, or which games. I know it's hard to choose one. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you in my next video in a few days. Until then, stay cozy and bye bye.